I'm going to show you how to add one item to the catalog. So this is the home page right here. Let's go ahead and click on Administration. We're going to Manage Service Catalog. And what we can do is click this button right here, which is Add New Item. All the information that's required will be right here on this screen. So the type would be determining if we're going to be putting in equipment or materials, permits, but we got to select the type. So what I'm going to be selecting here is going to be a material, and it's going to be a thermostat. So any type of material that you put in can be listed under tasks and equipment. You can create any category that you want, but let's go ahead and just put it under tasks and equipment for now. And the category is going to be miscellaneous. The department is going to be if you have multiple departments in the company. Let's say you have service, that would be one department. Install would be a different department. Plumbing would be a different department. But if this is going to be, let's say, installation for thermostats, we can go ahead and just select a number, and you can pick any numbers you want. But this way, if you select a department, what it will do is everything that has like department numbers in the end of it, it will departmentalize for you, which means that it puts all the labor, materials, equipment, commissions, everything from that department, and it will tell you what your numbers are for that area. And then it will also do a all-inclusive departmentalize as well. So, but that's something that you can learn on the back end. Description, what we're putting in is a programmable thermostat. And on this description right here, you want to make sure you put in a description that you are comfortable with the homeowner seeing, because the description will be printed out on their invoice. And this is what a sales rep would be looking for inside their catalog as well, to be able to add it to the estimate. Under brand, we can select whatever type of brand we have for this thermostat. Let's just say we have a Honeywell. The product line is going to be your, that's going to be the number that the supply house uses to find the materials and equipment that you're looking for. Some will use the model numbers, but some have their own numbers. If they have their own numbers, that's what you'd want to put in here. So let's say that this is the product line number that they use to search in their database for their thermostat. And let's say the thermostat model number is going to be 1F78-151. And we're going to get this from Johnson. We have an activation date here, which is typically going to come up with the date that you set this item up. Then there's an expiration date. Expiration date will automatically go to $99.99 for the year, just so it's pretty much always in there for you. But if you did have a promotional item that you wanted to have available for, let's say, a month, what you can do is set the expiration date out for that day you want it to end, and it will automatically remove itself from the sales rep's catalog, so they can no longer select that item and price it out. It'll still be inside the actual company catalog here, so you can always reactivate it later without having to reset it up. But that way you can at least have it where you have a promotional item for maybe a month or two. This is a material, so let's go ahead and put in the cost of this thermostat. Let's say it's $29.36, and let's say the technicians that install these thermostats are usually $20 an hour. And let's say that it takes them 0.25 of an hour, so 15 minutes to install this, and they're $20 an hour. That means that they would be making $5 to install this part. That's what would go in here for labor costs. The rest of the information is going to be for equipment and since we're not looking at equipment right now, we're looking at material. We don't really need to fill out the rest of this information down here, but we can make sure that we have all of our components here correct, such as if we wanted to auto tag with parent. That's something that I just recommend that you always select as far as yes. So if you do put tags in there, it will automatically tag to that component. And for this item here, can remove from parent. So if it does tag with a furnace or an air conditioner and you want to be able to remove it off, we can leave that as yes. No harm in leaving it like that. If there was an item such as maybe materials and consumables that are tagged with a furnace and you don't want people to be able to remove the consumables because you're always using them, then you can just change this to no. Can add without the parent. So if you want to be able to add this thermostat in without a furnace, without an air conditioner, anytime that you want, you leave this as yes. If you only want this component to be added when it's being added with that parent tag, then you can change this to no. Applies to commission basis. If you want to be able to pay a sales rep commission on this component, you leave it as yes. If it's something that you're not wanting to pay commission on, like maybe a permit or something of that sort, you can change that to no if you'd like. Right now it's set for calculating using gross margins, so it's going to be using the main formula based on the gross margins you have set up in your company settings to determine what this item would be priced at. If you wanted to pick a flat dollar amount for this item instead, and let's say you just want to always charge $200 for this thermostat, regardless of what the material and labor cost is and commission and all that, what you can do is you can change allow retail override to yes, and you can change calculate using retail gross margins to no. And that way, when you search for this in the catalog, it will always come up with a cost of $200 versus doing all the formulas to calculate what you should be selling it for based on your costs. But for this item, let's go ahead and just leave it where we are going to calculate using gross margin. So we'll change this back to yes, and we will not let this be a retail override. Then all we got to do is save it in, and that component is now added in to the catalog. And you will be able to search for it when you do an estimate.